Today, I want to take a closer look at Nvidia. The stock was up roughly 2% on the day today, while some other semiconductor companies were down. We can see AMD was down roughly 2%, and Intel was down nearly 3% on the day. So, what I want to cover in today's episode is first, Meta Platforms did announce a new AI chip. And this is something we kind of covered in yesterday's episode, where Google and Intel announced their own AI chip as well. So we got another big player today. We also just have some other overall updates impacting the overall stock and the overall AI market. So let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for the subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
So the first thing we are seeing is just a few price target increase. Morgan Stanley boosts price target on Nvidia to $1,000 from $795 on continued business strength. So obviously we are seeing a continued strength. Well, Morgan Stanley is seeing a continued strength in the AI market, and they're willing to increase their overall price target. Right now, like I mentioned, Nvidia is sitting at $870. So from these levels, they do believe Nvidia stock price can still go up another $130. Now, outside of that price target, I want to take a closer look at just some overall investments that have recently come out. On Tuesday, April 9th, we did hear that Microsoft is planning to invest almost $3 billion in Japan data centers. So obviously, if you are investing in big data centers right now, they're most likely going to deal with artificial intelligence, and that's the case. And if you're investing that kind of money on AI data centers, you know who's going to end up getting some of that order or some of that money is going to be Nvidia with their GPU solutions, because they are the best with the AI market right now. Before we go any further, I just want to say thank you all for the amazing support we are getting in this channel. We're closing into 40,000 subs. That is insane. So if you haven't and you are enjoying the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. Finally, if you want to support this channel a little bit more, check out my special offer at fool.com/Jose. Now back to today's episode. Now, if we take a closer look at Meta Platforms is dominating, sitting at almost $520, up roughly 50% year to date, up a nice amount. So the first thing we're seeing is we can go to AI at Meta. Meta is an AI company, and this is something that we've been talking about for numerous years already, and we can definitely see it right now. So Meta did introduce their next generation of MTIA chip, and that is their Meta Training and Inference Accelerator. So they're going to use this for certain AI workloads. This is an updated version to their first gen, which was based on TSMC's 7 nanometer. The new one is based on TSMC's 5 nanometer. Very similar to actually Intel that we looked at yesterday. Intel did announce their Gaudi 3, which is on TSMC's 5 nanometer. So remember, these are AI accelerators. They're usually only good for certain types of workloads. They're not meant to replace GPUs, but more to offset them. So Meta mentions because they control the whole stack over time, they can achieve greater efficiency on models for Meta products compared to commercially available GPUs. And they're going to continue to improve performance and per watt as they build up and deploy MTIA chips. So this is something that maybe some NVIDIA investors might be worried. I personally wouldn't be so worried so far. So we are seeing that a lot of these cloud service providers, they know exactly what kind of workloads they're doing. And some of their products are always going to be in that one workload to some extent. So because they are on that one workload, it makes perfect sense for Meta and all these other cloud service providers to focus on a chip to improve the performance of that one workload if it can save the money in the long term of things. Overall, though, at the end of the day, you still need GPUs for a vast majority of solutions, because at the end of the day, workloads are shifted by the way of program, their algorithm that they're used, and the only way to be versatile is by using a GPU, because most of these ASIC solutions or these kind of own chips are meant for that one workload, and you can't reprogram them to kind of get well for the other workload in general. So nothing that I personally would be worried as an Nvidia investor, but again, it does benefit Meta because they definitely can save money in the long term of things. Now, we did get some great news from TSMC today. So TSMC did report their March numbers, and their March revenue was 6.1 billion, up 34% year over year, the fastest pace growth since November of 2022. So obviously, if TSMC is seeing an improvement on chips, it does mean that the overall semiconductor market is pretty healthy. We see TSMC was up roughly 0.5%. Like I mentioned, TSMC is a very important company, but one I personally wouldn't buy into right now. I think the best way to kind of get into the semiconductor market, if you're buying TSMC, is just get into a semiconductor ETF instead. Now, kind of going with that same news, we did hear reports that the global PC shipments returns to growth and pre-pandemic volumes in the first quarter of 2024, says IDC. So in the past few quarters, the past few years, we've actually seen a decline in the PC market. It does seem like this is the first time we're seeing some growth. And again, it bodes well for those companies that are dealing in the consumer electronics, because most likely if we're seeing this also in the PC side, we're most likely going to see this in things like the mobile phones and kind of tablet side as well. Now, bringing it back to maybe more Nvidia centric news, Nvidia's H100 GPU shortage are easing as lead times drop from 4 months to 2 to 3 months. I mean, at first when I saw 8 to 12 weeks, I'm like, oh man, time's a lot shorter, but that's pretty much 2 to 3 months. And just the overall, right now, Dell, Taiwan general manager, which is a provider of a lot of AI servers, mentions that lead times for H100 GPUs have been reduced in the past few months. But he states that demand for AI capable hardware is still extremely high. There could be a lot of things happening here. We can see the shift of probably just the ramp up of manufacturing could be improving. The overall capacity can be improving. Companies moving to the H200, moving to purchasing of the B100, the B200 can be happening as well. So not necessarily a bearish case yet, because we are still seeing that this is a supply chain, a supply constraint market, and there's still a lot of other products, and products are evolving over time. So pretty cool there. I mean, pretty much we can see here, right? Elon Musk says that next generation of Grok 3 model will require 100,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs to train. He mentions that their Grok version 2 required as many as 20,000 NVIDIA H100s. I believe Grok 2 is still not out. I think we just have Grok version 1, but I could be wrong. But regardless, we are seeing that the next generation is going to need even more compute power, 5x more computational power in forms of H100s, or maybe they can just buy a lot of B200s or other products in general. Now, Elon does mention that there's two main things that are gonna impact the growth of AI. The first is the overall supply constraint market of GPUs, because it's not easy to get 100,000 GPUs available, and then it's not easy to build them all up at once in forms of one supercomputer. The second thing is the availability of electricity. And this is something that us as investors, maybe we should start looking at what companies can benefit from this power grab right now. So that's all I have here for Nvidia. A lot of great news in my opinion. We still continue to see a nice bullish trend for the long term of things. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.